Yeah, Image Comics was in full force. Yeah, Image Comics was in full force. So first off, I'm Richard Ryan. I have a channel on YouTube. I do live streams Tuesdays at 10:30, where I take game
Image
requests,
Comics was in full
play
force.
80s, 90s, toy commercials, game commercials, and I do live song requests on guitar and sing. So yeah, Spawn was one I personally collected. I loved just when you flip through Image Comics, the art was like they give you these full page art spreads, and the ink just kind of flew off the page. Looked fantastic. You know, and it's like it was exciting that those guys were kind of like rock stars at Image. They were doing their own thing. They own their own IPs. Yeah, this was I remember these being at Toys R Us. These Spawn toys with the comic inside. So it was. was Yeah, I like this figure, and I would always have him with the clown face with the hair flipped around. I would always have him like that. Oh, neat. I just your mic's off, bro. Guess your mic's off, man. I wonder if did they hear me? It's probably because of the scene, the intro
Yeah, the scene
scene.
changed. All right, everyone. Sorry about that, man. Whatever. I'll get this right. I blame OBS. Anyway, yeah. So let's get back into this, man. This figure right here, of course, had a gimmick where you twisted his arm, and you can go from the Violet head to the clown head. I do apologize for the audio not coming through. Thanks for letting me know. What's up, Josh? I can hear you. Yes. All right. Anyway, let me get back over here. This is why I don't like OBS. But of course, this site's got different variations from different locations. I know, we fixed it. We fixed it. OBS didn't want to change. Ryan, so if you want to give your intro again real quick, and then we can get back into this.
I think they may have heard that.
Did they hear that? That's weird. Okay. All right. You know what? It might have been when I switched the
Because
scene.
yeah, for the scene with the thumbnail and just the music, there's probably no mic on that, and then it just stayed no mic. We'll need the scene when you go to your cam to start the mic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. So, medieval spawn here. That's actually one of the highlights of this first wave for me. Full-blown knight, awesome shield. Of course, Todd McFarlane just recently did his spawn figure for Kickstarter for this one, which was pretty awesome with like magnets that he had where you could put in, swap the armor, change the head, a bunch of other stuff.
I know for my figure, it's hard to keep his cape on, like because these shoulder things pop off, and then that's what kind of holds in the cape. I know because I just set up that shelf I have like a week ago,
Mm-hmm.
and but other than that, I think I love how the figure looks. But yeah, that doesn't hold his cape in that well.
Oh yeah, because it was like you had these little pegs that fit into the shoulders, but that's how the cape would fit onto the figure,
So
was those little two pegs.
Right, those shoulders with the metal, that snaps into the cape down. So it's like the cape's always kind of falling off because they're holding on the shoulder things. But that's like, first trial run wave of a toy line.
Oh yeah,
expected.
definitely.
Little hiccup.
You can definitely tell too, he didn't have the hang tab stuff here. You had to actually, like, the stores actually had to put it on the back of the figure. And I remember these not standing just right because of the way the bottom of the bubble was.
This is also a big deal that he was able to get these toys in Toys R Us.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember like hearing him interviewed Todd and him saying that it was kind of a struggle to talk him into letting, because they're very choosy, like Toys R Us at that time, about who gets like store display,
Yeah, definitely. So let's see. Here you go, oversized mecha neck over here. Still kind of a big, bulky figure, pretty cool.
Good Todd father. Todd is that dude's like a marketing genius.
Yes, he does. He does get his Todd father gets what he wants in the end. That is true. The dude literally, he became a rock star. I mean, even above every one of the other guys outside of Jim Lee. Hey, Ashley.
What's up, Ash?
And of course, we got the Spawn figure, which had two variants, or one variant. You had this one with the mask on. His little bitty board with a nail in it. But it was cool. He had the chains. He had the little bitty skull things that you pegged inside the cape to keep the cape on his back. Definitely a really cool figure.
Just like a lot of lines, like that main Series 1 Spawn figure would be kind of hard to come by because everybody wanted that one.
Mm-hmm.
So you may end up with the one without the mask on. You may end up with the medieval Spawn instead. You may end up with, because that just like that He-Man syndrome, right? Like you find all the villains, but you want your He-Man. Where's he? So they ended up having to make all those variations of He-Man. This is the same thing that would happen with this line, where the main character is kind of hard to come by sometimes.
And so on top of that, you got Hamburger Head, Spawn, where he's got the stitching in the face there, which, if I remember correctly, he got that scar from fighting Batman.
Okay, what? Let me just say, there's 7 variations of the first Spawn. What are some of the just because I'm a nerd, I got to see what the differences are in some of these. What? Because I kind of wonder which one is mine now. I'm talking about like the normal version one with the mask on. Why are there 7 variants?
So, okay, you got the re-release where they actually had the card back, right? And we did get to see this in stores, but it started in Brazil for this one anyway, right? And then on top of that, you got some that were Chinese edition mask. I can't see that one. You got the Spanish edition. Some of them have like extra stickers. You got the bilingual here. Give me a second. All right.
Yeah, so I'm wondering which one I have of the original figure.
Yeah, I know that I definitely have this version. We used to have the Hamburger Head one because that was the one that everybody went after, was trying to find that version. Let me see.
So these are all just different. Like, what's the standard USA one look like?
So the standard USA one would have been this one here.
J-hook bolted to back.
Yeah, meaning the it had no hang tab, so they had to put the sticker hang tab on him.
Okay.
And then I know that later on they actually started cutting out the JPEG, or the spot for the hook. What was that? A trimmer. I think there was 2 variants. Did they have a picture? Yeah, here we go.
I'll tell you the only downside of this packaging with the comic is your comic most of the time was fucked up, and this is what I mean. Like, because it's not in a bag and a board, it's just fucked up in there. It's like creased on the side, bent, waves in it. You understand what I'm saying? Because it's not bagged and boarded, it's not flat.
Right.
And I can tell you that from opening these recently, buying them off eBay, just pulling the comics out, they're fucked up in there,
So, and a lot of that's because of the fact that he did these bubble packs, right? They weren't designed to stand the test of time. So anytime any heat or they were put in the sun, they would warp that, the plastic around the figure and everything, and it would damage the comic. There was no protective, hard plastic in between it. How do these scale with Marvel Legend figures? These were definitely smaller. You're looking at like maybe 4.5 inches, maybe 5 inches. They weren't even like 6-inch scale. Some of the figures were a little bit bigger. Like when we get into Violator, he.
So this figure right here for the Tremor. Yeah. He reminds me of a pretzel.
A pretzel.
Always because like he's salted.
Yeah.
Even to this day, when I look at him on my shelf,
oh man,
I want like a pretzel. He looks like a pretzel. Bro.
He does look like a pretzel.
He looks like the one I want to be specific of what pretzel, not like the Rolls Gold ones in a bag. I'm thinking like the ones like you get at like the baseball game, like the full stuffed pretzel you dip in cheese. Like that's what he looks like, bro.
Oh yeah,
'Cause he's
yeah.
got, like,
So like, what is it? QT, right,
he's
Dad? Like QT,
Tremors,
their pretzels that you usually get when we come up. Yeah.
Tremors biceps are salted.
Yeah, yeah. Spring-loaded fist action with salted flavoring. But yeah, going back to Violator here, man, this figure was pretty cool. Of course, unfortunately, this is one of those ones where, you know, you have a figure that's at least got to be 10 feet tall, right? As far as like in reality of the comic, but he was one of those bendy figures. And the more you play with these things, they fell apart. The type of plastic they used almost.
Yeah, and so this one, that Violator, difficult as fuck to stand. He's got the bendable. There's also, he's rubber, but it's almost like a metal inside the legs, so he's so bendable. So he'll stay in the position you bend him, but he is really hard to stand because look how thin his legs are.
Right, exactly, and that took away from like the playability of the figure. I do believe we ended up getting one that was
multiple versions,
more plastic,
and more darker gray. Yeah.
But like, you're looking at one of Spawn's, like, you know, nemesis right here. You know, he should have been a little bit more.
Todd's art looks so good though. The backdrop of the comic, full scale.
Yeah.
It looks so like no toys were packaged like that at this time with this super like large scale art behind it, you know? Because think even like the Turtles line from Playmates, it would be kind of like a small portion of the card back that would have the figure on it, a little corner, maybe side, a little card in the middle, even X-Men Toy Biz. But look how much that pops with just the character that's in the bubble on the comic as the backdrop. Awesome.
Well, yeah, you think about like what he went from doing Spider-Man. Like definitely the style that he was doing was way out there, and the Violator always kind of reminded me of the fly creature from the second Fly movie. Like, just look at the face; he looks like he's a mutated fly.
Yep. Like the eyes almost look like the headlights of like a motorcycle or something. You know what I mean? Like or like of like a Mack truck. Like the.
Oh yeah. I mean, so this first wave of figures, I mean, were really stand out. You know, there's a lot of playability, and then by series 2, you know, we got Angela, who's technically, and we also got the new card back boxes.
By the way, as somebody that has a lot of Image comics, and I'm kind of a fanboy even now. Like, you know, people are like, "Oh, Joe, they're worthless. They're 90s comics. Like, it's crap. It's not worth anything." Dude, do you think I care, dude? Do you think I care? I grew up with these.
So,
like, I want them. The art was amazing. But, like, the point I want to make is, do you remember that all these characters had, like, offshoots? So Angela had a series. Violator had a series of 4 or 5 or 6. Chapel.
Yep.
Because I have these offshoots in my collection. Like Chapel had like the backstory, 5 or 6 issues of him. You know, like Bad Rock, because Liefeld was doing Youngblood offshoots, so like Bad Rock got a series of 4 or 5 comics. So and you would see those along with your main issue Spawn or Youngblood or whatever at this time, or you know, Wildcats. So you should be like, oh shit, you could get comics for Angela, you can get comics for whatever. That was smart. They moved more units that way. They made more money that way, doing comic offshoots for each character.
So Mox is asking, are these articulated as modern figures. No, not in the beginning. They had very little articulation. You maybe
They're
have
like this
a knee
would
joint,
bend
a what's up?
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing you said. They just bend at the knee, the arms move, the head swivels. That's about it. It's not like that. There's no ab crunch. There's no foot movement. There's no,
You even
you
got to
know.
the point where there was no like you couldn't even swivel the hands or I mean the wrists and everything. You couldn't. Eventually, you got to the point where you could bend the elbows, but like a couple of those first ones, they were just static. I mean, you're limited to like 4 to 5 points of articulation. Um, talking about Chapel too. Like, I think that's one that we didn't get a figure for just because of the fact that he. No, we did. Okay. Yeah, we did. But eventually, he went away because he's the person that killed Al Simmons, and then they removed him from the series because he lost the rights because apparently this was a character from another series that someone was doing at the time.
But let's also point out the change of the bubble and the card art there. They switched to kind of the lightning in the background.
Mm-hmm.
I love this Chapel figure, dude. I really love this. It's a badass looking character. He actually reminds me of Clown from Akira. The
he does. Yeah, he does.
The headbutt scene, that one.
Mm-hmm.
But what I was gonna say is like, it makes me think of like Metallica's "Ride the Lightning," the cover, the back of this card art, and it also makes me think of Dimebag Darrell's. I don't know if you know Pantera well, but he had a guitar with the blue lightning like this.
Okay.
But it's very 90s, very classic 90s. This kind of like lightning in the background.
Oh yeah,
but
yeah.
I think
it pops very well.
Yeah.
And what was cool was like whenever Spawn got the Chapel, he freaking like ripped off his face and basically gave him the skull face he always had painted on himself as punishment, for what he did. Dad said that Todd tried he tried stealing Spider-Man from Marvel because he reinvented the character and lost, so he went off to prove that he could do something better, and that's where Spawn came in.
Yeah.
Josh said that little points to them now. Most figures are 32 points rather than the 12 points or less back then. And then,
let's talk about the importance of race at this time. This is a black character, Spawn.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is great that's represented, and because it was underrepresented at this time. Everybody's white. All the characters are white. This is a black superhero that's badass, that's kicking ass, just like Blade. That was great. That Blade, Wesley Snipes playing that character.
Mm-hmm.
So that this was definitely a big deal for the comic industry at this time, having the flagship character, a black superhero for Image, big deal.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, having the representation, like having characters that were actually, outside the norm was a good thing. It wasn't looked down on.
So I like
you had realistic.
Rock. It's like kind of like their like Image's Hulk. He's got the missiles firing out the shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's kind of a cool character, dude. I actually remember really thinking he was cool when I was younger. If you remember too, remember Image had Pitt. Remember Pitt?
Yep.
It's kind of like another Hulk style, gigantic character.
Fun figure. But yeah, because it was really cool because like you started seeing him branch into like other characters outside of the characters that were in Spawn on its own.
Another one that was a black character at this time, Shadowhawk. I remember they actually deal with AIDS.
Mm-hmm.
That character.
Let's see. That was the problem with all of his figures at the beginning. Yeah, low articulations. They are like one-piece figures. Basic. I mean, kind of. They're almost like statues. The white box ones, not the figure arts ones. They have a few more. Let me see. McFarlane movie Maniacs had the same problems. Yeah, they were more static That's a line that we do need to talk about at some point, is the movie Maniacs, because that was awesome. That was having horror and everything as figures that we didn't have before stood out. 5 points a movie. Let's see.
To be fair though, I don't think it's specifically to black superheroes that just have dark personas. Because I mean, we could talk about Iron Man, white character facing alcoholism.
Mm-hmm.
We could talk about a lot of white superheroes that have dark stories. I mean, how about the Punisher? It doesn't get much more dark than that.
Oh yeah,
you know,
yeah.
I mean, he's
losing his family.
Straight up killer, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Ghost Rider's pretty dark. So I think you'll find it widespread that there's dark personas for a lot of different superhero characters.
Oh yeah, yeah. It doesn't just have to be, their color, their skin. It's like, they have to have some kind of, that was the thing. Sometimes you had to have that dark story or background for these characters. Here you go. Here's the big bad for Spawn up to like issue 100, and that was Malbolgia, the king of hell.
Yeah. Who he defeats in issue 100, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm. Frees himself of everything, and then becomes the leader of hell for a bit.
Look how awesome that they fit this character in that. You can barely even fit in the image. Look at this character.
Look how which one? Malbolgia? Yeah, hold on. Yeah, he takes, or I think it's a she actually, takes up most of the stuff. Of course, you've lost the comic feature, but literally all this stuff, the figure's like literally impact into this plastic. Just waiting to be free, but 15 inches tall. I mean, that's huge.
It is. And it extends too, like if you extend the legs, it'll like stand up like ridiculously high.
Mm-hmm.
Good crouch down position.
We got the pilot Spawn, which is what I was looking at. And it's like, there's these just weird figures that, he's just making that didn't make an appearance at all. It's just like, oh, we got kids that want to play with our toys, and so we got to give them the Batman treatment.
Dude, I was so excited at this time to get these figures. I would go into Toys R Us and be so happy to bring these home. And it just felt like it was my thing. Like, I would bring Image Comics in the car with me, you know,
while you were driving.
I was going.
I mean, while your parents were driving and taking you out of town, or whatever.
Exactly. I loved reading these comics, and I would reread them, dude. And I gotta say, as much as I love Marvel, like as an adult, maybe more, but dude, I had like a pride in Image over Marvel at that time, because it felt more adult. It was more TNA. It was more blood. It was more gore. The ink popped off the pages more. Marvel looked like yesterday's news at this point, bro. I'm sorry, it did. It's like, it looked like newspaper. It looked newspaper print with the faded colors on it.
Mm-hmm.
You would open the Image issues, the quality of the gloss on the pages, and the 2-page art blowouts that you would get in there. You know what I mean? And was a lot of it really Image over storyline? And like for some of this, yes. Was it more eye candy sometimes than really a lot to say about the characters or what they were going with it? Yes, but I didn't care as a kid. I loved the art. It made me want to wish I could draw like that. It made me wish, and it's like, I felt that with Sega at times. Like, I kind of had that pride about Genesis. As much as I love Super Nintendo, I love that we get a little more gore on some of the Genesis stuff, and like the Genesis Does ads. I kind of embrace that rebelliousness, that angst of that time with the representation of like Image Comics or Sega, or you kind of wanted to be like the older brother, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, you didn't want to be like what the younger brother was looking at or watching or playing. You wanted to be like, well, what's the older brother playing? And that was kind of the mentality of the 90s at this time. You know, look at even Nintendo Play It Loud, you know, not to get off track too much, but that was the era of the Attitude era of wrestling too, right? But you could see it in Image Comics, and you could see it in Spawn.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, definitely. I mean, think about it though. A lot of this has to do with the fact that, you know, we were growing up, so you know, companies were understanding that, and you know, advertising to the next, the generation from before, and they try to also advertise to the newer generation, but you know, this really stood out for the time. You're looking at like whenever this stuff came out, I, you know, was 11, 12, and then I grew up reading the comics. I love the comics. I love the stories. It's been so long since I've read them.
How desperate were Marvel to get relevant again that they had Jim Lee paying him to come off Image and Wildcats to do that X-Men rerun, to do the new launch of the X-Men covers, right? Remember the 5 covers that are still to this day the biggest selling comics of all time? That X-Men run, the relaunch, that they had Jim Lee do the art, all those covers for. Those are still the most sold comics, that X-Men 1 comic.
Oh, yeah.
So, well, like, the Image was so hot, Marvel's like, please just do anything. We'll give you all the money you want. Just come back and do some art for us and make X-Men relevant again.
Well, and you think about it, they Marvel tried to do this new universe. I can't remember what it's called, and my dad will bring it up. But there was like, they tried to do this whole thing where it was a more darker Marvel, you know.
Yeah.
They had these new stories because they were trying to compete with Image, and it failed. But like,
and I'm somebody that loves, like, Uncanny X-Men's probably my favorite to collect for. Like, I have like 400 issues of that, like, you know. So it's like, but when they rebranded it as just X-Men, that was the right move. Jim Lee doing the art in those covers, that was the right move. It reinvigorated the brand.
Yeah, because like like for me, like Spawn was the comic. I remember like we got the first 4 issues autographed by Todd. I mean, I collected up to like issue 200 before I ended up giving it to my wife's ex-husband at the time, and because like I knew he was a fan and I'd read those so much, it's like I didn't need them because they were just taking up space, and I figured I'd give them to somebody that would enjoy them, and I kind of regret doing that because it's like now I want to go back and read these, and there's avenues and stuff to be able to do it, but you're not wrong. Let me see, let me read what's going on in the chat real quick, and then this is one of my sought after figures, and I had this thing for like 12 years before I ended up selling it, this Future Spawn here. But let's see, how about their accessories? Can they be used with classified figures and vice versa? Wish I never lost my Spawn books. I worked hard to collect them. As far as Mox, like, I know Josh answered the question. Not really. They don't scale well. The newer figures might. I know Josh has more than I do. Let me see. New figures would be able to. Todd even made weapon packs. My dad said that, but don't give them too much credit. Marvel had a lot of minority characters, and then Malbolgia kept falling off the shelf, knocking on. Yes, he did, or she did. I remember that all the time. Because they even though this figure was 15 inches tall, it did not have the greatest stability.
Malbolgia literally bulged out the bubble pack.
And then it knocked your figures off the shelf. It was like it was a wrestling match. Let's see. Never forgive you for giving them away, for shame. Yes, I know. Cool, thanks. And then he said, who he was. Josh talked about who, just to recognize for Mox that he knows who he was. Todd made these figures with bad feet, like Liefeld made them. Over on top. Yes. That was the thing. Is like McFarlane made all the stuff for the figure except for the ankles, and that was given to Liefeld. That's hilarious. Let me see.
That guy will never live that down. That's what always comes up with him. And that terrible Captain America cover, where it looks like he has like breast implants. You know, that Captain America cover. Whose chest in for the love of God has ever looked like that? That Captain America cover.
Oh,
the worst thing I've ever seen. So I say crime on that way more than any of the feet or the other stuff.
Yeah, I agree.
That Captain America cover is more trash than anything he's done.
Man, it just like all the interactions we've ever had with that guy, he was just like nothing but ego and trash. But let me see. So Mox, no, I won't be able to go up in October. I probably won't even be able to go until April, to be honest. And that's probably when Josh will be able to go too. Just too much going on.
He's probably even worse now with the success of Deadpool, knowing that he created that character. It probably went to his head even more now.
Oh yeah. With Deadpool, oh honestly, yeah.
I see him trolling people all day long too, and on Twitter. Like I don't even know why. Like why would you mess with that? Why would you? There's nothing worse than seeing grown men fight on Twitter. If you're a grown man and you fight on Twitter, just get a life. Especially if you're somebody that's successful and has money. Aren't you above that? I just never can. That is the most cringe thing when I see anybody celebrity or borderline celebrity getting in a Twitter feud. Grow up.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, we do have bickering back and forth in my messenger group, but it's just all in fun. Let's see. He first worked on their Pocket universe for the for that Jim Lee that was the director of the Fantastic Four, Captain America, Hulk, and Avengers. That led him to do the X-Men. That's cool. Thanks for sharing that. Yeah. Let's see. He has been trolling Todd by making fun of how he talks and presents his new stuff. Yeah, look, Liefeld can get the hell out of here, man. That's like, no, dude. Like, praise people for what they do. Don't be a loser and whine about the fact that you think that you're all stuck up about.
But you're not number one. He's just mad he ain't number one. Todd was number one, dude.
Todd was always number one. And Jim Lee, like both those guys are like icons in the comic 90s period of time, right? And it's like Liefeld, yeah, he may have created Deadpool, but like there's been other writers that have made that character better than he did when it started, you know?
I do like I'll be honest though. I do like his art, even though he's got like very staggering flaws with some of the stuff he draws. But like I do like his style. You know?
Right. You know, so the thing is that if this dude had put enough time into his artwork as much as his personality, he could have been as good.
Had some humble pie, ate some humble pie, he would have been good.
He just got wrapped up in the hype and like everyone enjoying what he was doing.
He went full Kanye. Of everybody of anybody on the Image team, he was drinking his own Kool-Aid. He went full Kanye.
Right. Let's see. So I plan to go back next summer. I was there almost a week in July. Hope to catch you, Vince. You and Vince next summer. Yeah, dude. No, that'd be great, Mox. Is it just me and Floyd reminding each other we are brothers who miss each other, even if he's an a-hole? Anyway, all right. So the this figure right here, I remember seeing this figure in like preview at the time. I love anything robot, mecha,
Yeah.
transformer, and just like having a Spawn version of that. I thought this was so cool. And I remember we were at Toys R Us, and it was the only one there, and I was like, oh my gosh, I want this, Dad. And he goes, all right, you can get it for Christmas. And I had this figure in the box for, like I said, 12 years, and then I ended up selling it because I didn't have the space for it. And I should have kept it. I probably will eventually get another copy of it just to have. But that's what we do as collectors. Sometimes we hold on to things for a period of time, then we sell it.
They are hard figures to fit on a shelf.
They are.
They all got like a fucking wingspan and shit, cape span. Because that was what. I mean, just think about the Spawn Batman comic. How much they exaggerated the cape span on those. The capes were like the fucking curtain of like of like a movie theater. Like, is the way he did the capes on like Batman and Spawn.
Mm-hmm.
Remember the art in that? Remember the art in the Batman vs. Spawn?
Oh yeah, it was great.
Bro, it was like all capes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was. Batman's cape was living at that point in time. Let's see.
And it looked cool as fuck, but it's like, that's why these figures like take up so much space.
So whose bright idea was it to put martial arts weapons sword on back?
Yeah, I'm gonna say this is like the jump the shark moment. This is when like, okay, this wasn't even in the comics, bro. Ninja Spawn? What the fuck was this, dude? This is the jump the shark moment right here.
Hey, he was trying to branch out because we had medieval Spawn, we had regular Spawn, we had Commando Spawn. Now we have Ninja
Dude, by the
Spawn.
way, I love the Spawn Alley. I had the Spawn Alley, and I had that Violator like Mack truck thing.
Yep.
With the teeth. They were both fucking cool, dude. Dude, I'll tell you, like, a reference for me at this period, like, I was like buying these Spawn toys and listening to like a lot of Nine Inch Nails.
Oh, that
I
works.
was like, this is some demonic shit.
That
I
works.
was like.
Now, this was a figure that was sought after. For anybody that actually read the comic, you got Redeemer right here.
Yeah.
Awesome figure. This is a cool character. Let me see. Spawn Alley. A lot of these figures was Todd trying to compete with Toy Biz Spider-Man figures. How weird they got. Yes. Yeah, you're not wrong on that. You're totally not wrong on that. Because he started doing all these other characters and stuff, but they were still cool figures. But here, you actually got a character from the comic, Curse.
So this is bringing back bad memories for me. Okay, I'm getting some PTSD right now because when I ordered this figure to open up and display, it was broken.
At the joint of the shoulder or the mechanism.
Because of the light feature, like there was some cord that like ran through the arm and it snapped off. Just knew even out of the blister. Knew out of the blister it's like broken. I don't know why. And it wasn't the packaging fault or anything. I got a flawed figure and I still haven't replaced that Redeemer. I didn't go through
Redeemer. Yeah.
I didn't go through the trouble of like sending them back to the guy. Cause it's like it wasn't broken, like it's not really the guy's fault. It was like broken within the blister.
Mm-hmm.
Like I pulled it out and like the arm fell off or like something like that,
Well, and you got to remember too, some of these like they had like crappy that inner plastic that held the figure, so like it could have dropped some way. It would already manufactured broken, and there was no quality assurance to make sure it was right before it went out the door.
I kind of got a shots fired for Spawn and figures of this era, this time. Okay, a little bit too much like making up for your penis size with the gun sizes on this stuff.
On the gun sizes for the characters, yeah.
It's just too much like we get it, like it's like midlife crisis like guns. Like they're bigger than the whole guns bigger than the whole figure. I respect that. I know that's like kind of the Arnold thing, like he would take like weapons off like military vehicles and just hold them in his hand. Like, I get it, badass, but it's a little bit too much of this era. Like, enough with the fucking guns bigger than the character. You know, I gotta say, I wish they were more kind of in the middle. Because when you try to, it's a problem because of this. When you try to put these oversized weapons in the action figure's hand, the weight of it, you can't even hold it up.
Right.
Okay. So you have to have a figure pointing a gun at the concrete, which is not the pose you want.
Yeah, because the weight of the weapon is too large. Yeah, or too heavy.
That's part of my beef with the oversized weapons bullshit of the mid '90s. They went too crazy on it, dude. They went too overboard.
So, let's see.
This was a good Violator.
Yeah, this is the best Violator to get. I had this one for a while.
Is this the one that has like the eyesight to fire? It's like a little eye thing that goes over it.
I don't remember. Let me see. Does it show? Yeah, it doesn't say. It doesn't give much detail on what the features were. I think the biggest part of this was like he was starting to do more of the articulation for the figures.
Look at, I gotta laugh at some of these stickers that he puts on. Like, look, it's like, okay, first of all, deluxe edition, ultra action figures. He's like, it's just so 90s. It's just so 90s, the wording of that, all the extra verbiage, right? But then look at how he puts Spawn's #1 enemy.
Right. Well, look at it though. I mean, there's so much going on this card, right? You got like the name of the figure, you got his McFarlane toys, you got the warning choking hazard. Like, what's part of this?
Plus, he's reminding you that Vince, that it's America's best-selling comic book. He's reminding you of that.
Yes, yeah. And the ultra action figure. It's not a toy. It's a deluxe edition ultra action figure.
It's like on a book. It has to say New York Times bestseller on every book.
Right.
Because that's like the code of like, that's like this seal of approval. If it says New York Times bestseller, not on a book.
Oh yeah, it's got to have the Nintendo seal of approval for it to be legitimate, right? Let me see. So, some figures could not have... so okay, here Josh said that some figures could not have came out until now, where they had better designs and better molds. And then my dad said, I regret selling most of my figures, but once they hit certain prices, I couldn't resist, and the packaging was really sturdy and the bubbles would yellow. Yeah, that's the one thing that was downside to like the plastic that was used at that time, especially from McFarlane.
But to be fair, I've seen bubbles yellow on all the Motu. You know, I like not all of it, but you know what I mean. On a lot of the Motu from the '80s, I've seen those yellow. I've seen Power of the Force 2 yellow. A lot of those. It's like a chemical reaction or something.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's not even like a heat thing. Sometimes it's just like it could not even be heat. It could just be like the light hit it too long. It didn't even get hot, but light hit it. You know?
Yeah, the UV rays and stuff, and just like yeah, because like toy shops would have some of these things out in the in the windows for people to see, or they didn't have anything to block out the sun. I remember like. There's a place.
Dude, this clown too. I love it.
Oh,
and I
clown?
love the two variants. I love this clown. And again, with the oversized weapons, but it kind of works on this one because look, it doesn't weigh it down. It sits on top, so it's pointed forward at least.
Correct. Yeah. And look at that. He's got that from the one issue where he freaking shoved his fist into somebody's head and ripped their head off, and it's still stuck on him there. But like. That was always the cool like attention to details, but it was nice to be able to actually have a clown figure that was an action figure and not just a standing piece with a gimmick. And then so we started getting better variants to the ones he was originally doing, and then you got the Gorilla, Cygor, which is, I guess, the
I think
equivalent to Gorilla Grodd.
you kind of got the King Kong vibe to him.
Yeah, yeah. This is a Mecha Donkey Kong. Let me see. Text features were terrible then. Yes, they were. I still have a Violator as the clown. Yeah, I remember you do. I think I still have mine too, Dad. I gotta look. Wasn't really sturdy, but bent easily. Let's see. I just couldn't. The X-skeleton spawn. This is like, I didn't do anything for me at the time.
Yeah, let me see this. Oh yeah, I don't like that either. Dude, this looks like a fucking dinosaur fossil. I don't like it.
True. I mean, the bonework and stuff, I mean, don't get me wrong. The detail on these figures are great. But it's like,
yeah,
you're really niching down for, like, who wants this. I'm pretty sure there was somebody out there that wanted this figure, but I was definitely one I remember passing up.
This was like, do you have, like, the dead rabbit skull spawn? Like, you know, it's like...
Yeah. But here you go, man. Here's Shadowhawk. We were just talking about him.
Yeah.
It was great, like, to get to see this figure.
I mean, Shadowhawk gets no love. Nobody ever talks about Shadowhawk. I really liked, if you remember on those Shadowhawk comics, they had a really, like, minimal cover art design where it'd be like the chrome shine of the mask would just be the whole cover, and I thought those really popped on the shelf.
Yep, because like during whenever Marvel brought back Transformers for G2, the cover for that first issue is Optimus Prime, and it's got that chrome, like, you know, finish on it. And then you would open up the center of the thing, and it would have like an extended art piece. Really,
dude,
cool.
I gotta say, so just like I'm a sucker like on toys for like vac metal shit and like glow in the dark and gimmicks and stuff. I gotta be honest, I'm a sucker for when comics did that. They had like the chrome look to it. They had like the holographic foil shit. A lot of people hate on that era comics. It was like, because it was on everything, but you know what? I used to like displaying those in my room. They looked fucking cool.
Oh yeah, they popped, man. Like it really appealed to our generation. Let me see. So Mock said that my son can't play with these figures. He'd probably break them in half. No, you're not wrong on that. And then Josh said, makes it flashy, everyone would buy the comics. Yeah, exactly. Definitely.
Well, like, okay, let me just say, if that didn't work, then why was the hottest shit in the trading card game holograms? Why was the hottest shit in the trading card game?
Yeah,
Marvel cards that had the foil on them. You know what I mean? All those those were the ones people were dying to find in the card packs. So it wasn't just working with comics; it was working in the trading card game. Sound like hotcakes.
Yeah, and as Zombie had mentioned before in like the that other episode we did talking about trading cards, is like, you know, those are the things that people would trade like with their friends to get stuff that they wanted, homework done, or Marvel medals. Let's see, Variant Comics gave Image a run for its money. Oh, Valiant. Yes, yeah. Valiant was... You're right on that, Dad. When Valiant came out and they had like Exo Man of War and Maxim, the Machine Hunter, and then... Yeah. But here you go. Here's your Max figure. Love this figure.
Yeah, I love the Max, dude. Okay, and I cannot say enough good things too about the MTV Max animated show. Was dark as shit, was well animated. I went out of my way to record those on VHS tapes every time they aired,
Mm-hmm.
and I'd watch them back. The Max is an awesome character, and the comic book line for Max was great. Amazing covers.
Yeah, and this was one of those ones where it's like, this was a very basic figure. It had like the articulation in the hips, like for the legs. So I mean, you're looking at maybe 5 points of articulation for this figure. Still,
I love the boot detail. Look at the detail of the boot.
Oh yeah,
Look
yeah,
at the
yeah.
detail of the gloves with
Mhm.
the yellow and the purple really pops.
And the chains and stuff, like the little bit of holes as he was, but the buckles. Let me see. So, Mox says, can I ask how much does one cost sealed for the Max or for which one, Mox? Let me know. And then
These usually range, whether we're talking about Spawn or we're talking about like the Max, these usually will be in the 20 to 30 range on the high end, unless there's something really obscure. Now, if you find these at like a flea market, a lot of times these will only go for like $5 to $7.
oh yeah, yeah.
I mean, these were highly produced figures in large quantities, and a lot of people bought them. They're not like, a quick flash in the pan toy line that was over in one wave. Like, these were really being bought out and sold in high quantities at Toys R Us.
Oh yeah, these were mass produced on a wide scale.
Yeah.
I mean, you're looking at back then. You still had Toys R Us, KB Toys. You could you had Kmart still around.
But I will say that there's enough Spawn fans and fanatics that they're never dirt cheap. Okay,
Mhm.
so I don't want to get because I don't want you to get your hopes up either on that, because I've heard people say before that, oh yeah, you can find these just for a few bucks. Well, I don't want to over exaggerate the bargains on these, because there are enough fans that they will stay in that $10, $15, $20 price range on card. So
So the best thing to,
demand for them.
so for Mox, Rob has some at his shop. He does have some Spawn figures there, and on card. But like the best bet for anyone that's looking to get into Spawn figures, especially some of the vintage ones like this, you're going to be able to find these at like any local toy shop that deals in any kind of vintage stuff.
They should have a few on hand.
So give me Red Pill. Give me a second. I'll post that, and I'm gonna read the rest of the comments real quick. But I'm on SpawnWorld.com. I will put the link to that here in the chat. And then let me see. So go back to the Max. But yeah. So let me read what was going on. Yeah, Josh said, yep, comic cards were like SIGs in prison. You could get anything with comic cards. That is true. Ruby said, I've never seen Spawn, but always saw the artwork and stuff. It's why I can't really talk about any of these things. That's okay, Ruby. You can go, like, there's places you could probably watch the original Spawn cartoon, the movie itself.
We don't do this show just for toy aficionados. We want like people to see, even non-toy collectors, to just show them this stuff, because to keep the memory alive. Like, this is not a toy show for just toy-based collectors. This is like a nostalgia-based show that even non-toy collectors can be like, I remember that, or I saw that in the store, or that's not our main demo. So
yeah, a lot of this stuff is stuff that like we just happened to be around it at the time. I mean, oh, and definitely that's another thing too. Since Spawn was made by HBO, so it's on Max. Okay, that's good to know. Keep in mind, do not watch it with your kids, because it has some very much adult themes drawn in it. But it's got Keith David doing the voice of Spawn. Which side is this? Let me see. Still have mine, but I've never found the white is Chase figure. I remember that one too, Dad. We did look for that one because we wanted to get 2 of those figures. Spawn figures are at every shop. Yeah, that, like Josh said, there is definitely, you can find these at, like, if you watch Megadan, or not Megadan, why did I say that? Pixel Dan and some of the other toy guys on YouTube, they'll go to places that have these figures, and they're like usually maybe 10, 15, 20 bucks. I mean, they're not expensive at all.
You know what's my go-to? I may get arguments in the chat, but my go-to figures that go dirt cheap that I always see in stores are next generation figures, dime a dozen, out the ass, overstocked in any store.
Yep.
And Power of the Force 2, but the prequel era more so, even than the normal Power of the Force 2. You know what I mean? Like the Phantom Menace figures, they really can't move those, dude. Well, those are ass load of those.
You're not wrong on that, because once they got to, because like that first, so you got Power of the Force 2, and then you ended up getting like them doing the Phantom Menace wave. And then when they got to the latter half of Attack of the Clones, the figures got better. They had better articulation, more accessories, and then they started redoing figures from that line.
I'm just saying they kind of can't move them though, because I've been to so many comic stores, and they are just overflowing with those to the point that I don't even think a lot of them will take them anymore because there's so many. So I'd say that like Spawn is like one level up from that, where it's like they have them absolutely, but they're not having as trouble moving them as like the Star Trek Next Generation stuff, which, and I'm not picking on that line, but I'm just saying that's what I see not moving at the stores, the Next Generation stuff. Because remember, they made so fucking many of those figures.
Well, it was in a height of popularity, and like most people either, that's the thing about like part of the collecting for some of those figures, where as newer versions came out, they moved the older stuff because it's like, well, this has a better representation. It's kind of like how I collect with, I don't get rid of my stuff, but you know, it's that whole thing. You know, let me see. The Chase figure, white variant, plus. I said 20 plus for the new figures. Yes, that is correct. You can get them for about 20, 24 bucks for the new stuff. Spawn is on Max, and it's pretty close to their early comics. You will get classic Spawns cheap with and then we'll have the KB toy stickers on them, on a lot of them. That is true, because KB at the time ended up becoming more of an outlet store than as its own toy store.
And I'm sure if you go into like a toy store or a comic store that has these on the shelf, they'll definitely probably wheel and deal with you. If like you're like, I'm gonna buy 3 or 4 of these, can you cut these prices down if I buy a few? Because they want you to take them off their hands.
Yes, they do. Aries said, who fused Cyborg with the Thing? You know,
yeah.
I could see that. And part of this too is that like the Thing figure here, I mean, not Thing, jeez. Overkill 2 here, it was like after Spawn fought him the first time, he like literally left him in pieces. So this is when he got rebuilt in the comics. But see, this is when we start getting these where he's starting to slowly redo some of the figures and give better versions of them with more articulation. So you got Trimmer here. I mean, it's still not great. I mean, I get the cold blood feature here where you can pump it so it looks like the blood's flowing in him. But he's still a static figure. I mean, he's just like, you just put him there. You're not going to have like really great, you're going to mess with the pump on his back. Read what I said. What did I say, Josh? I said, Floyd, keep up. They're bickering back and forth. Okay, anyway. Let's see. Vandalizer, which is another... another Spawn enemy here. Part of the Violator.
And it's also like, so when you get into like the the number 2 versions of like Tremor, and like you're gonna find these probably cheaper than the earlier figures.
Correct. Yeah.
But these aren't as like in demand with your Spawn fanatics. They're gonna want the first couple waves more than the later waves.
Yeah, so like Josh said, a lot of Spawn figures were found in storage units, and these resellers got stuck with them. Spawn stock as well. And, you know, that is true because Spawn was that hot toy brand. And, like,
Yep.
it almost, like, was another part of that whole speculator market because people were like, I got to have this. I know it's going to be worth money. Because you're looking at this figure here or any of these figures, they were 100% better than most of the toy brands at the time when these were out. And these were the hot items, you know, so people thought that they were going to hoard them to either resell them later or to fund their kids' college funds.
Yeah, because there's this weird thing that happened. Like, okay, the first couple years of Toy Biz was the shit, right? But then you got into kind of those later, before Marvel Legends, right? You got into some of those later era Toy Biz figures, and we've been critical of like the faces are bad on some of those.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you look at the face, and you're like, "What the is that face, dude?"
Oh yeah.
Like the human likeness of some of the comic book characters on the later era Toy Biz stuff, they kind of dropped the ball, and that's when like Spawn was kicking ass because it's like the paint deco and details on these was just better.
Mm-hmm. So and then let me see. Mox is saying that TNG figures are slightly bigger than modern GI Joe figures. That is true. One thing I do know about like any of the Star Trek figures in general, they had really good sculpts as far as the faces. They look like the actors.
Yeah.
Very good representation for these figures and stuff. So
I'm not saying though they're bad figures. I actually really like the way they look, but they can't move them.
Oh,
they're ass loads of those in the stores, and they're not, because like I think a lot of it too is like, okay, while people like our age was watching that show at that time, it appealed a lot to like the older guys too, older than us.
Oh yeah, my dad.
They're older than us now. Think they're like in their 60s now. Those guys.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not really out there trying to get next generation figures right now. But people
those people already have them. So like this is like just the overstock of stuff that people didn't get.
But people our age, I can say without a doubt, are a lot of them want to rebuy their Spawn toys they had as a kid, more so than our age trying to get back their next generation figures. I'm just saying that's pretty.
Oh yeah, I can
confidently say that. I can confidently say that.
Because we'll think about it.
And I like next generation.
These figures right here, like you buy one for $5 off of eBay or Kari or wherever, you know, Amazon, Facebook Marketplace, any toy group. Local toy shops, right? You can sit there and just take it out of the package and put it on your shelf, and it's just an aesthetic, nice pose. Versus like even just put it on the wall. You know, it's like, man, this represents my childhood right here. It may not mean anything to anybody else, but it's like that's the whole fun of it, right? And I was gonna say, I know Aries has got to go, but I was gonna say, man, just for your comment about Venom grew a fang on his back. You know, the funny thing is like any of the demons for Spawn, like McFarlane drew these weird claws or things that would just jet out of the back of the characters in weird positions. Let me see. So talk about the living capes and the movie was ridiculous. We will bring that up, Dad, because that's going to be part of the toy line here. See?
I actually, you know, the one thing I'll say about the next generation, I love that ship. I thought that ship on the show, like the main, what do you call the main like cockpit room?
Oh, the bridge.
The captain's bridge, whatever, right?
Yeah.
That looked so baller, bro. Like just the layout, it looks so modern. It looks so crisp. I thought that's one of the best I'm just saying something. I'm trying to say something like positive about the show because it was a great show. Or they wouldn't have made Picard redone that recently. You know, it's still got its fan base. But what I was gonna say is like, dude, that ship looked so good.
Oh yeah,
in
yeah.
the '90s.
The sets, man. The sets were.
The sets were phenomenal, dude. On that show.
Let me see. I'd buy new TNG figures now. Also wanted them because they had a lot of accessories and good faces.
Yeah.
Star Trek figures
Who's the
were
chick?
mass
The hottest
produced.
chick with the cans.
Oh, what's up? Say again.
What's the hottest chick from Next Generation with the big rack? She's got dark hair. She's always wearing skin tight fucking. What's her fucking name?
Diana.
Yeah, Diana.
Yeah.
Good lord. You know how many kids were popping boners over her? I'm sorry, I gotta say it.
Yeah, well, you know how many times Riker did? You know, Jonathan Frakes. Let me see.
I think what's his name was trying to see through her outfit, like wishing he had X-ray vision. You know what I mean? He could see her nude.
Oh man, TNG figure. Oh yeah, I was saying, Star Trek figures were mass produced more than Spawn, which you're right on that. TNG figures are third behind my Joe and Transformer collection. My top 3 toy lines, awesome. TNG is my favorite Star Trek. I fly over with Picard any day. Pause. Vinny Boom Bots is in here. Let's see. Me too. Great White North.
Picard made being a bald man cool. Like there wasn't that many bald men cool at that time. You know, you had like Kojak.
Mm-hmm.
There wasn't no Vin Diesel back then. I mean, you had Picard. He's rocking like the middle-aged balding man's look, you know, but he was gangster on that show.
There's a lot of guys that like had robotic parts in Spawn, or were part of another series. The Super Patriot, with his star on his crotch.
I just wish there was. My only thing I'll say about Next Generation, bro. So much fucking dialogue. Give me a little more fucking action, dude. So much fucking dialogue on that show.
Well, there's a lot of stuff they have to discuss, right? You know, they have to drop the plot, you know? I get it. A Counselor Troy. Yep.
Yeah.
Great White North. She slept with Riker and the world. Robots like Data.
How much time do they spend talking to fucking Whoopi in that bar and shit? Like, just give me some fucking action. They're in that fucking bar room with Whoopi, right? Isn't she in like the little club area, little bar area?
Yeah, she's like the bartender and stuff.
Just fucking fly somewhere and kill somebody. Do something.
Well, remember they spent a lot. There was quite a few episodes where they were in the holodeck.
Anytime the Klingons were popping off, it was dope. Anytime the Klingon fights with Worf.
Hey, look, this looks like a Captain Planet villain.
The lounge, yeah. Vin's talking about the lounge.
Yeah, the lounge, yeah.
Vin, they were in that fucking lounge too much, man. They needed to get some fucking action going on in there.
I mean, come on. In deep space like that, you're gonna have moments of lull. It's not like every time. It's not like you're in Houston or California traffic where there's a traffic jam and you see the same car that you pass by every day.
It was a good show. I'm just busting balls.
Oh yeah, yeah.
A lot of dialogue, bro.
There, TNG. became philosophical and moral in some episodes. Yep, it did. The Tribble episode was interesting. Kojak aired on CBS from 73 to 79.
Would you say, you almost could argue there was more action in the OG series with Shatner? Every episode was kind of like half action because they were always getting off on another planet. There'd be the babes, the alien babes that fucking Shatner's always trying to get his wang wet in, We got to get back. We're getting
off topic. We need to save that for a TNG Star Trek episode where we talk about the figures.
It's turning into Spawn: The Next Generation over here.
Yes.
Dude, that would be the most fucked up crossover ever.
Yeah. It's
Spawn,
like
The Next Generation.
Right. It deals with life and death.
Those figures would be ridiculous. Dude, it's bad enough that Playmates did a Star Trek Turtles crossover. Remember those?
Yes,
Why
I do.
did that happen?
I remember those.
Why?
Well, that's definitely an episode we'll need to do, is like talking about the crossover toy lines. All right, so
I'm sorry, dude, but Star Trek Turtles crossover, that is like sacrilege. That should have never occurred. That doesn't make any sense.
Oh man, that's too good. Spawn crossover and event of the century. Okay, Mox. Sorry, I moved on. No, you're good. All right, so Sam and Twitch, man, like the two coolest detectives in the comic and the show, and they got figures for them.
That had its own comic book run too, of just Sam and Twitch.
Mm-hmm.
That was good.
Oh yeah, definitely. And it was great. And like you got two figures for the price of one, and it was one of the things that like he at least thought about having expanding the world of the comic. Yeah, he had these other figures that didn't show up in the comic or the cartoon or any of that stuff. It was just like, oh, let's just copy Spider-Man like we were talking earlier. But he at least thought about the fact of adding characters that people wanted. So he was listening to the fans of all the media that he was producing at the time.
I'm excited to see the I don't want to jump ahead too far, but I want to see the Spawn back alley. I want to see the Violator mobile.
Oh yeah.
I was really excited.
It should be on here.
And set up all my figures on them.
Turtles and Archie was a weird crossover. Let me see. I definitely be back for the TNG podcast. Yeah, we'll do that one definitely. Yes, I'd love to follow the crossover one. Cool.
Dude, that one's gonna be an ass load of figures to cover. That is a really big toy line. The Next Generation.
Oh, it's huge. Yeah. And even just the play sets, like the Mezco stuff and like the different.
Dude, the coolest one is, what's the one? This is the last thing I'll say. We'll get back to Spawn. What's the one where you put them in and then they disappear when it turns?
Oh, the teleporter. Yeah, the transporter.
The teleporter was a legit fucking playset toy.
Yeah, the transporter.
That blew my mind how that worked.
See, I remember this figure. People sought after this figure because of the fact it was like, we actually have Spawn with this awesome cape, and let me see if I can move over just a little bit. Look at that K. Oh, what is that? EB Games? No, it's KB. It's KB Toys sticker right there.
Spawn 3 light up eyes, huh? I don't remember this one. He comes with a fucking owl?
Yeah, owl and a bat. Yep. Archie is from my hood, Riverdale.
I mean, Mox, probably Batman, because of the Batman vs. Spawn comic. There'd be a good Batman Spawn crossover.
So Mox asks, what would be a seamless crossover with Spawn?
That's what I'm saying. Batman Spawn, because there's already Batman versus Spawn, McFarlane.
Yeah, we already
Issue.
did that. I mean, I'm trying to think of what like Doctor Strange and like Spawn would be kind of cool, or Ghost Rider.
Ghost Rider would definitely be cool teaming up because both have a lot of chains on shit.
Oh, I'll do this. I'll say this because this is for my my Uncle Colin. But Constantine, like, you know,
Yeah.
Constantine would be
Punisher?
awesome. Yeah, Punisher. Yeah.
Punisher, because they're both just like straight up killing dudes.
Mm-hmm.
And the gore would
Mangler.
fit for both.
Teleport. So Archie Turtles must be bogged out. Yeah, I remember seeing it. I just didn't read it. I just was like, nah. So let me see. I'm gonna get into some other figures on this line because, like, this was one of my figure right here. Like, I love this Curse of Spawn figure. And then,
it's like a werewolf style.
Oh, that's that was the one that I was just on, that Mangler figure. And then, but I just popped up the Curse of Spawn. He looks like he's gray and bone, or black and bone. But one of my favorite figures of the line was this one. No, not Gravedigger. No. Hold on, where is it at? Hold on. Where are you at? Because you came out at the time. Nah, he's not here. I gotta remember which figure I'm looking at, because Curse of Spawn. No. Hold on. Okay, well, here, look. We'll do this. So, like, Series 9 was my favorite. By far my favorite Spawn series. And this was the manga versions of them. Hey, what's up, Vinny? Hey, guys, some Todd McFarlane action going on here. Yes, sir. All right. So, you got this evil friggin', like, spider version of the clown. You got the manga version of Curse. I had all of these figures. You got your manga ninja Spawn, which looks much better than the other one we got the first time around.
I was giving Mox the I had that compilation of all the next generation toys in one video.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, when we get to this line, they get crazy with all this bone stuff in the figures.
Yeah, but like this one, like Mecha Spawn, this is awesome. I wish I still had this figure. I had this figure for a long time. Just like the mecha design on it, like the panel work on it, his weapon, and then let me see. Mecha Violator. Just super cool. I'd love to actually have all 6 of those again. Or wait, yeah, 6, right? Yeah. And then let me see. You got even more, yeah. So Manga Violator here. I had this one. I probably still have part of this figure, like that claw there. That's about it. But it stood well. It was a really well-made figure. Hold on. Is this the...
That is really sweet. I've never even seen that, actually.
Yeah, these are great figures, man. Like, he was like trying to do something different, and they just stood out. I'll show you my favorite one here in a minute. And he's done a re-release of it, which I need to get. Like Cybertooth here looks like something out of Robotech Sentinel. What was it?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it looks very alien.
It does look very alien. Like the bull alien kind
Yeah,
of?
yeah. And you got the Manga Freak. The six-armed crazy dude. You can look at, if you look at it, you can see his teeth there. The Overkill was much better. This is like I love this figure version of Overkill. So this is the third one we got, but you can just tell he was just like very manga style. I just wish I still had these. Honestly, I do.
From a distance, that almost could be like a shredder suit.
Oh yeah, definitely. It could, because like if you look, you got like these like awesome shoulder pads that like kind of flare up. He's got these like freaking huge gauntlets on him.
That's kind of a missed opportunity. Shredder's never been in a mech suit.
Well, he was in that stupid Michael Bay. Well, wait. Yeah, he never was. Yeah. He was never in a mech suit. That movie never happened.
It would be cool.
But this was my favorite right here. By far, out of the manga stuff, was this Samurai Spawn. Which is very strange. It didn't come with actually a katana or anything. But like just the colors on him popped and everything.
Yeah.
Really, really cool. Actually,
these start to look very like start to look at this point very like tribal, almost like Indian tribe kind of style.
Yes.
You know?
You're not wrong on that. This one was so weird. It was like, this is the Dark Age series that he was doing. So this is supposed to be the the Black Knight Spawn. And he's just like weirdly posed in there. He's got this like really, really wide A stance and everything, and his arms are just like, it's like he's taking too many roids and he actually can't put his arms together because his muscles like block.
Yeah, they're losing me at this point. Like the detail is good, but they're losing to me the recognizability of the line.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what I mean? And like it's getting a little too far removed from what Spawn is.
Correct, because like you got a dragon.
I will say though, after like Spawn 100, I wasn't getting them all after that. So maybe they were doing stuff like that in the comics. I'm not sure, because I wasn't reading after Spawn 100. So I don't. Was the theme they were going for?
No, because he started doing like these other characters and stuff, like other stories. Because like this one was cool, like this ogre with a goblin or whatever in its back. He was definitely going for like this medieval, like kind of playing up on the whole medieval Spawn stuff, but like this Centaur looked pretty good, pretty cool. Kind of looks like Ganon as a centaur, because if you look at the face and everything and the red hair when it pops up here for this the raider. I wish the images were a little bit better, but I mean, this is a really good comprehensive look at these figures that we weren't getting before. Let me see things. I've enjoyed watching tonight's podcast. Keep up the great work and discussion, interaction with you guys. Looking for the next few week podcasts. Thanks, Mox. All right, let's see. Hold on. Let me see if I can find it, because there was the reanimated Spawn. Is this it? Oh yeah, no. Okay. This is what I'm looking for. This character right here, well, my favorite. So like he did this story. He did this like I think it was like 12 issues at the time, or 13 issues. I think it was just 12. But this character was like, I think this kid that became a Spawn. But he was doing like these vignettes within the Spawn universe, and I love this character, and I had it for freaking forever. And my best friend Jeff broke it. And I was like, oh, man. I said, don't worry about it. And my dad glued it and stuff. And then he ended up getting the figure again for me for my birthday, like a couple years later. It's like, oh.
There you go.
But yeah, I have him somewhere. I think that's one of the ones I still have somewhere in my collection. There you go. Look, it's Maverick. I don't know. I only say that because his name is Top Gun.
Top Gun. I feel the need. The need for speed.
Yep. Let's see.
I don't like you, Spawn, because you're dangerous. That's right, Ice Man. I am dangerous. Slider. You stink.
There you go. Look. It's Zeus. It's coming up here. It's coming here in a second. Yeah, he was doing different comic miniseries within the Spawn multiverse. Yeah,
he's doing some Conan shit in this.
Yeah. Dad, can you grow your beard out like that?
Looking more like a shag rug than a beard.
Oh yeah. It's like he killed some animal and like just shoved it on his face.
Animal pelt.
Let me see. Let's get into some of the... This one was really cool. This is one that they've re-released recently, within the last couple years. I had this one too. Very awesome. Kind of like reminds you of the guards from Big Trouble in Little China meets Zerum from that have the same name. But he's got like this long ass sword that you could connect it to make it this even longer sword, like double-bladed sword. Really cool shield. He had this like spike. I'd love to get this figure again, or at least a modern version of it. But yeah, the Mandarin Spawn.
Honestly, most of these we've seen though, in the last like 5 and 10 of these we've seen, they lost me with these, Vince. I'm out. I'm out on these.
You're out
like
on them?
you know, Like, can you imagine like kids how confused they'd be seeing this, like compared to the original like Wave of 7 figures, like, and then they see these, they'd be like, "What the is this?"
Let's see. Oh, you're not wrong. Here you go. We did get an Al Simmons figure.
Orange chicken
It's
spawn.
Spawn.
General Chow
Gross.
spawn. Peking duck
Yeah, it
spawn.
was funny. Oh wait, I totally. My dad deleted, or he deleted his message. Restricted message. What? What is going on? I don't understand this. Anyway,
Teriyaki spawn, you know, all the classics. Rotisserie spawn.
Silence of the Lamb clown. I mean, it's like you. What is the play feature on this? There's no play feature.
That is not a good.
No, it's not good at all.
This is like, you know, I love it. Imagine if like we could like sit down with Todd at like at like his office and be like, "What the fuck, Todd? This one, like, right? What was this, dude?"
Right. So, and this is where we're starting to get more sculpted figures with very, very limited articulation. Like, these are ones that you just buy to put on your shelf. Because, I mean, he's got, like, the static pose. You know, his arms don't move, maybe other than, like, at the bicep there. You got a little bit of hand movement. I mean, he's just standing there.
It's like a freaking oversized bearded dragon.
Yeah, like this one right here, the medieval spawn. He's just in a static pose. You put him on a base and you just put him on your shelf. So it's very, very like it's frustrating at times, like because the stuff looked great, but they became statues. Yeah, like Josh said, they went from action figures to statues with little motion.
Yeah, I'm not really a statues guy.
So it was really, really frustrating. I'm like, so, but then it became like people wanted these spawn, like the actual spawn figures that were like this because they were really great. Like, you know, you could actually have a figure in a dynamic pose that you could never get with an action figure, and they're just shelf warmers, but it's decorations. Like, so it almost becomes like how you want to collect your stuff. That was a great figure right there. I mean, it wasn't really a figure anymore, though. It became statues. And then he did these. These were the... Actually, I don't even remember these coming out here. They don't even have regular names. Are these the robot? Oh, these are the robot ones he did. That were a little bit more action figures than Series 17. One of my favorite Spawn figures with his cape and the base like that. Yeah. Let me skip that stuff. Accessory pack we were talking about earlier. This is for the samurai stuff. Because, I mean, around this time, he was doing the anime stuff. He, I think, started doing the movie Maniacs at this point in time. See, yeah, this figure, like, has no articulation, you know? Wrist articulation.
This man has no dick.
Favorite Spawn figure is the 10th anniversary Age of Spawn, and wish I never sold it. I had it so long as in the middle of... Wait, hold on. had it as long as the middle of my chest until the hospital until I doesn't grow long enough. I don't understand that, Dad. Are you okay? I had it as long as the middle of my chest until the hospital. Now it doesn't grow long. Oh yeah, okay. I'm sorry. You're talking about your beard. Okay. I'm following now.
That's what she said.
Talking about
Doesn't
your beard.
grow.
I wasn't.
Floyd, we're not talking about things that don't grow long in the chat, okay?
Except for Malbolgia and Violator.
Yeah. We're not taking. You need to. Floyd, put your Malbolgia away. All right, Vince, you're killing me. Show me the playset, dude. Show me Spawn's
okay.
Alley.
Let me find that. So we
If
got
I see one more curse of Spawn, I'm gonna start cursing.
one curse of Spawn, movie figures, vehicles, and playsets. Here we go.
Yeah, show me the Spawn Alley and the Violator Mobile.
Here's your drag racer, which we actually saw the live version of this one. He didn't have the minigun, but it was decked out like this at one of the cons. And then there's your Violator.
There we go.
Monster rig. Which makes me want Todd McFarlane to do Jason the Real Warriors like vehicles and figures, right? Looks like Monster Boss.
Man, how did they give you a comic book with the Spawn Mobile? What did they have the vehicle in the comic?
I guess so. Yeah. Remember, this is supposed to be like the part of the gimmick at the time when that first wave was the comic with the figures.
Yeah.
Yes, Dad, his dragon stuff was fantastic. The figures are straight from the comic and didn't move. You should show my Spawn Alley. Well, there's Spawn Alley right there. Do you want me to say? I remember Josh had this and stuff. It was freaking cool. It just doesn't it just sucks you don't have any other images, but
honestly, it almost works for like turtles too.
Oh yeah. You definitely could add this into the turtle figure line. Do you guys have the prices where they were new? No, but like this thing probably was maybe like $30. It wasn't expensive. I mean, in today's standards, it wasn't expensive. And then you got the battle horse that came with a version of Medieval Spawn. He also did comic cover figures. I still have the Halloween cover one he did. I still have it. Let's see. So those are those. We got the movie standard figures. These were bad. These are the worst ones. Really? You had an image, stock image there, but it's not. Yeah, here you go. You got your burnt bacon Spawn.
Hey, Vince, BRB, all right?
All right. Dreadnought. I totally didn't have $30 at the time. No, well, there was other things I was collecting at the time for this stuff too. There's your Jason Wynn, even though he's not there. Your John Leguizamo. The Santa Spawn. There you go. There's your... Hey, that's not Charlie Sheen. That's isn't that what's his name from Gargoyles? Yeah, and then Jessica, who was a new character. That was supposed to be Angela. You got your mass Spawn. With no cape. It's my party, and I'll play with my Mount Volja if I want to. Ryan's gonna miss that joke. Alright, so let's get out of that part. Standard issue figures. Movie playsets? Did they? Oh, yeah, they did do these. I forgot about these. Are the smaller figures they did. Xanatos, thank you. Thank you, Josh. Yeah, this was the smaller stuff. Commander Riker? Yes, sir. Large scale movie deluxe. Okay, anyway, so there you go, Josh. Redeemer. It's Martin Sheen, not Charlie. Yes, yes, yes. You're right. You're right. You're right. I know. I know. I'm tired. I'm hungry. I'm old. Anyway, I'm joking. Let's see. Mandarin Spawn. This is the newer one that they did. What's up, Ricky? Jonathan Frakes, I forgot this for a sec. See? I have too much useless information in my head to remember some of this stuff sometimes. I remember this figure being sought after. You either got the Devil Wing version of Wings of Redemption Spawn or the Angel Wings, which I don't think they have on here. That's interesting. Which is more expensive action figures of all time? What is one of... Which is more expensive action figures of all time? I know that, like, the G.I. Joe Defiant is one of the most expensive of that line. Josh, correct me if I'm wrong on that one. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you. No, your information is extremely useful to me. No, thanks, Vinny. I try my best, man. This is... Let me see. Raven Spawn, Redeemer. This is the other one, yeah. Yeah, this is that Reborn stuff that he was doing, where he was relaunching the series again of figures. Let me see. Cyber units. No images. I don't know, actually. Let me look that up. What is the most expensive Spawn figure? That's a good question. Most... Oh, Jesus. Let me see if that's even on here. Oh, wow, I didn't even see that figured. So there's a Spawn/Batman Spawn, Greg Capello, who did the New 52 Batman run artwork for... there's an 18-inch scale limited edition statue that's $500. That's on pre-order right now. But she's done that figure before. Okay, here we go. We got a... Let me see if I can pull that up over here. Oh, Jesus. Let me put that... Copy, send it over to Discord. You got me on a scavenger hunt here. Hold on. Send it to Ryan so I can grab it from there. Okay, let's grab that. Copy text. Put it into the paste. Let's go. That figure right there looks like it seems to be the most expensive that I can see. Todd McFarlane Spawn Series 24 Santa Spawn. Man, that's crazy. Didn't you have this one, Josh? Okay, anyway, let's see. Jonathan Frakes, blah, blah, blah. Spanish figures. North definitely has become the most expensive due to how brittle. Which one did you say, Josh? Oh, yeah, the Defiant. Yeah, of course. I still have that one you gave me, Vince. The one with the... Oh, Redeemer Spawn? Like the Wings of Redemption one, I think it was. If any... Dang it. Yeah, that is expensive, guys. Isn't this the one you had, Josh? Yes, it was. Oh my gosh. Dude, that's crazy. Is there any images of it? Here we go. That figure would be... See, sold figures. Oh, yeah, that is true. Let me go look. I could go look that up. So, McFarlane Toys Series 24. I'll do a search on that. And we can do... Where is that at again? It has been a while since I've had to look this up. Sort by can... Hold on. Let me do this. Completed items and sold. There we go. That's what I was looking for. Jesus, man. All right. So what was the difference? Maybe it's the version? Interesting. I don't know. That one's 400. Curious though. What's the difference from that one? Is it like signed or something? Description, where you at? Even if it's not in the new condition, it may be listed as used. That doesn't really give me... Maybe it's a variant? Oh yeah, I think it is. Like if you look at the way this one is here versus I don't know. I can't see why the difference is. Am I just blind here? These are the best, lol. Affordable, yes. C sold. I'm not sure why that version is that much, honestly. I think someone's like wishful thinking because there's no... Hmm. It's 250. Let's see. You know what? I bet that the Kickstarter one's probably going to be the most expensive, honestly, right now. This kills me because some of these figures I had and disappeared when that container went missing. Yeah, I know, Dad. I know. He re-released it. Okay, so this is the original then. Okay. Yeah, because I think the thing that I noticed is different. Maybe this, the way the sticker is on the box. Curious though. Yeah, it looks like the 20th anniversary one. No, it's a statue. Okay. That is definitely something I'd have to look into. The most rarest and expensive spawn stuff. Toys, merchandise, comics. Just curious. Come on, Reddit. You fail me. Sorry about the dead air, folks. Most expensive spawn figure. That's the only thing I see that's high, so that's interesting. Let me see. Good night, Vince. In chat. Have a later, Ricky. Thanks, brother, for stopping in, man. There is a masked variant of Santa. Oh, someone asked about the what was the most expensive spawn figure, and this is the one I found right here.
The rarest one is the nude spawn. It was a very limited edition release.
That was life size and anatomically correct and stuff.
Yeah, be careful of the nude Spawn. It's got a floppy torso, literally.
So, all right, hold on. Oh, this is not sized right for some reason not sized right on my TV. But yeah, can you see it? The how much this Spawn figure is?
Wow. Well, I don't see the price. Okay, now I do $12.80. Wow.
Yeah. That would be a weird, wild.
Oh,
weird.
Looks like he's like standing to home base. Is that home base Spawn?
It's supposed to be the Santa Spawn. He's got the cap and everything. He comes with a here. This is.
He knows when you've been naughty. He knows when you've been nice. We can't forget about Grinch Spawn. Grinch Spawn is another limited edition release.
Can we get Valentine's Day Spawn? Where he comes with a box of chocolates and stuff.
Ebenezer Scrooge Spawn. You'll be visited by 3 violators tonight.
They're all going to eat you out of house and home and destroy your home. Yeah, so
man, that was more figures to cover than I realized. Holy shit, there's a lot of waves of Spawn figures.
Yeah, 33. I mean, you're like, okay, so look, right? So Spawn
One
the
for
Immortal.
every year started.
There's not even an image for it. Here, Commando Spawn, which is no image for it. I mean, it's like
when Spawn
what I
no
could do is go to bigbadtoystore.com and we can go to the bane of all toy collectors' existence, even though it's the greatest site ever for collecting or finding what you need.
Whatever you do, don't take off the pants on Commando Spawn. There, he's got nothing on under there.
Oh my gosh. McFarlane, actually. No, I need to do it another different way. So we can go to Spawn. Let's go. Where you at? Come on, scroll down a little bit more. Spawn. There we go. Yeah, this is definitely one of the ones I saw that was pretty cool.
A lot of the Spawn figures of today go on sale on Big Bad Toy Store.
Oh, yeah, they do. It's got that ab crunch articulation, multiple joints.
That's like if Edwin had a figure, you know? Quesadilla, there'd be multiple joints. If only he was here to hear that joke.
I mean, he's still doing stuff. So yeah, this is the Mandarin one.
God, I hated the Mandarin in Iron Man 3. What a fucking trash character.
Well, he's only trash because of the fact that it wasn't even really him.
Yeah, but what a letdown that was.
But, you know, he's doing these, right? You know, you got these really great Sam and Twitch figures here. I'll wait till they pop up on screen for people.
So, let's get into the nitty-gritty. How do we feel about the Spawn movie?
Man, I really hated that movie. Like, the CGI still doesn't hold up today.
Let me just say, still better than the Super Mario 90s movie.
Yes. You're not wrong on that. You're not wrong on that.
At least, I mean, it somewhat followed the continuity of the comic just a little bit, right?
John Leguizamo as the clown, perfect. I
Yeah.
enjoyed it. Michael J. White as Al Simmons, perfect. The bad CGI for the cape, horrible. I mean, like that's the thing that's wrong about that movie is just the CGI itself. What's up, Henny?
Yo, Henny.
Love Spawn. Wish they came out with a new series or movie. They are working on one. Jamie Foxx is supposed to be Al, Spawn himself.
We need Jamie Foxx as Spawn. Todd, make it happen. Todd, make it happen.
This series was really
We've
good.
Todd, we've been hearing you talk about it for 20 fucking years, man. Just do it.
This figure's awesome. Human version of Spawn. You know, Al Simmons.
What's up with like Slash Spawn? The top hat.
Oh, Slash Spawn. Let me go for that. Hold on.
Welcome to the jungle. We got fun and games.
Well, you need to give him a guitar, man. Let me see. So I have a bunch of Spawn comics at my parents' house. That's awesome. I had up to issue 200, and I ended up giving them to my wife. Not my wife. My sister's ex-husband before they got a divorce. I should have never done that. I have a bunch of Spawn comics. I think I found it online. Did it only have 18 episodes? I believe so. It's on Max, yeah. It was the 90s. What were they supposed to do? The graphics were what they could.
So, can we show my my personal Spawn shelf collection?
Yep, let me do that. Let me get out of this. Close that. All right. And let me move this over here. So this is Ryan's Spawn figures. So let me let them come up on screen here for a second, so people can see them, and you can do your own thing, buddy.
Yeah. So these are not all my Spawn figures, but they're some of my favorites that I made a little shelf of as a tribute because they were a big part of my childhood for sure.
Yeah.
And you can see I throw in I threw in Grifter in there.
Mm-hmm.
Some Wildcats. So, but and in the back, if you look close, I got a Batman versus Spawn 2-pack. That's a newer McFarlane as the backdrop, but you see Malbolgia in the far back left.
He's like, feed me grapes.
You see Cygor, you see Badrock, you see Violator, you see Clown, both versions 1 and 2. You see Tremor, aka the Big Pretzel.
Yeah, the Big Pretzel. Yeah. He makes you hungry for pretzels. Either
These pretzels are making me thirsty. You see Hamburger Face Spawn. You see in the back, it's hard to see, but Chapel's in there too.
Yeah, I see him back there.
Tombstone, is that his name? The one next to him? Or no, not Tombstone. What's that guy's name?
I can't remember at the moment. The one with the hood and everything.
Yeah,
I can't remember his name.
he's cool though. I like that character.
Yeah.
But yeah, Medieval Spawn. These are just an assortment of some of my favorites. I do have the better Violator version, but I couldn't fit him in there to stand him. I tried to get him in there next to the Clown 2 version, but he just fell off. So I haven't found something to stick there in that one little spot that's left.
Yeah, the one little spot right there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
These are my personal favorites right there. And you notice they're mostly the early waves.
Correct.
Because that's what I remember, dude. You know, like that's where my heart is. Even to the point of if there's lack of articulation or they're an early wave, my heart goes to what I had, and I want to get back what I had because that's what my attachment was to, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Because by the time like Curse of Spawn, all those other figures, I was out of the Spawn game. You know, I wasn't So this is the Spawn waves that I remember that this shelf is a tribute to.
Oh yeah, I mean, the thing too is like as we were getting into the deeper into the Spawn wave, you could definitely tell where you had checked out, and that's understandable. Like I've been in this thing for so long, like I know most of these figures. I'm like
Yeah.
you know, as much as Tombstone, which is my other brother Josh and my dad, like can tell you, we were always about these figures. It was like that was part of the hunt and the fun. And it got to the point where we would collect certain figures that, you know, there may have been 6 or 7 in that wave, but there was maybe only 2 we really wanted. But McFarlane's been doing a great stuff. I mean, like his Marvel stuff has been fantastic lately. Not Marvel, DC. Sorry. You know, with all the Batman and the Flash and everything. Like I just got
dude, Spawn was so important for comics in general, revitalizing a lot of the industry at that time, bringing in a lot of newer, younger fans to a comic franchise.
We had some great games. We had great video games.
That's what was keeping the lights on at Image too, Spawn. I mean, the other stuff was selling, but that's what was keeping the lights on. Along with Wildcats, Savage Dragon, you know, a lot of that great stuff at that time. I'm really nostalgic over this period, and I don't give a shit what a lot of comic book aficionados out there like to talk shit on this Image era and the mid-90s stuff. All that stuff was crap. No, it wasn't. And I'm not worried about what the value is on stuff. The art was good. Did some of the storylines suck? Was there a lack of it, like I was saying earlier? Yes. But dude, this appealed to the teenager in me at that time. This was what I wanted to see.
Well, on top of that, you got to look at the fact that, like, you know, from the perspective of me and my dad, like, we were always around this, so we knew this stuff was big. I mean, hell, it spawned 4 games. I mean, he showed up in Soul Calibur, and he had his own movie and cartoon series. The toy line is still going on.
There was a little bit of a drop-off, man, in detail after, in the late 90s and early 2000s. You look at some of the detail on these Image
comics
books in their...
Yeah.
There was some detail drop-off, dude. Look at some of the comics later 90s, early 2000s. There's going to be exceptions of greatly illustrated stuff. But, dude, this was really peak detail on a lot of these.
I mean, it got to the point where, like, he perfected the style, and, like, you could tell looking at an image that was Todd McFarlane. You know, he has a group of people now that draw the comic for him, and it's still as good as it was back then. Like, it was, like, night and day different than anything that we were getting at the time.
Yeah.
Not even just the art. You had the story, the character. Like, it was like you wanted to know.
That's why shots. They'll be like a lot of the story, like some of the stories on some of these characters don't hold up. But you know what? The art fucking holds up, dude. The art of Image when it was at its peak was really, really good.
Yeah, I mean, you got a superhero that was you know, had evil powers, you know. Okay, so hold on, let me see. Okay, if you say so, Ryan, we couldn't have stayed open if I had relied on Spawn sales. No, that's true. There's other comics that you can rely on that were great at the time. Zombies.
No, I'm not saying it. I'm saying for Image, it kept the lights on. For Image, it kept the lights on.
For Image, yes.
It didn't fund the whole industry, but what it did is bring in new readers of that age group demographic to the comic store. Like, you know, it brought in new blood.
Yeah, no, that's true.
New kids got into comics, and there would have never. And if like Spawn wasn't a craze, it would have never been a movie. I mean, it's amazing to me too that in this era we got a Beavis and Butthead movie that was that big at that time, because Beavis and Butthead has kind of died down to like, this is completely unrelated, but it's kind of related to the fact that we had IPs back then that you could get a Beavis and Butthead movie, you could get a Spawn movie, you could get that's not that easy to do these days, or it would just be straight to streaming, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we were taking those risks in the box office then for this kind of stuff. That blew my mind at the time. Didn't that kind of blow your mind at the time, like that there was a Beavis and Butthead Do America movie? That was kind of crazy, and it was kind of an event.
Oh yeah. It was, but that was the thing. We had a lot of those things coming about. Let me see. Hold on. So Zombie is in the chat. Hey brother, always wanted Wings of Redemption figure, or a Wings of Redemption. You know what? I could probably make that happen. Either me or Josh could find that one for you, especially considering like he said that there's the giant version of him out right now. My dad says most people didn't remember how hold on, let me see. Remember how unrelatable images would have been, meeting deadlines and missing deliveries. Oh yeah, that's true. I remember that, Dad. Like, because since they
I got something. Well, I'll sit right there with you, Floyd, and say that even worse than that there was lines they didn't even finish. So like the Bad Rock Liefeld line, it was supposed to be like, I forget what the numbering was, like 5A, 5B, 5C. They never even finished the fucking. It was like a 10 comic run. Fucking Liefeld didn't even finish like a 10 comic run of Bad Rock. So like, dude, it was worse than missing deadlines. Shit never even got finished.
Well, that's how him and Todd had that falling out anyway, too. Was the fact that like Liefeld was all about the hype and everything, but was never actually getting anything finished, and then which put them at odds with their distributors and stuff.
He was just trying to bang chicks and like buy like sports cars and be stupid.
He was cashing those checks with nothing in the bank. Yep, man. But I mean, the games are great. I wanted to, especially like my favorite is the Super Nintendo one. I mean, which one would you say is your favorite, Ryan? Out of all the spawns, Eternal and Demon's Hand, I think it is, or something. The one on the Dreamcast.
The Dreamcast one was pretty janky.
Yeah.
Because I was playing that on stream and I couldn't get the fucking camera to. The camera was fucking wonky to see where I was going in that one. I did not really. I think the one I was impressed with was kind of that PS2 one I tried on my modded PS2, where it's kind of like a 3D platformer and you're kind of walking around. Mm-hmm. That one looked pretty legit.
Yeah.
I really think Spawn was represented well in Mortal Kombat 11, actually, as DLC. That's a really fun Spawn to play with. He's got the machine gun that he pops out, remember?
Yep.
So that I like that representation of him. Oh, there's also, we can't forget Spawn in Soul Calibur, remember?
Yep, I did bring that up earlier, just a little bit briefly. Yeah, because I mean, we got Spawn, Hayachi, and Link, and Soul Calibur 2. I mean, that was a big thing at the time. Hayachi being a weird pick, but yeah,
I love Spawn.
I do too. It's a great series. Like I love the stories. I love the toy line, and if not for McFarlane doing this, we never would have gotten Movie Maniacs. We'd have never gotten the DC stuff he's doing. It's nice to be able to have a Terry McGinnis Batman Beyond figure. That
nice to get a little bit of that mixture of horror interweaved.
Correct.
Instead of a traditional superhero fare.
Mm-hmm.
Just all the horror and demonology stuff in there.
Hey, Wacker.
Was it refreshing at the time?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's like definitely you can see the evolution of this toy brand and how more detail came in and more articulation came in, and like the playability just increased, and then he experimented with like more statues and other things. Yeah, exactly, Josh. Like I said, without this, we wouldn't have had the movie Maniacs.
Let me ask you this: without McFarlane, would we have not ever had NECA? I don't know the timeline, but didn't McFarlane first put the stamp on super realistic likeness on facial features and shit?
When he was doing the no, NECA was not out yet. Whenever movie Maniacs was out.
Well, you can make that argument then. You could say no McFarlane, no NECA.
Correct.
There might not have been one. There might not have been the market for it until McFarlane mastered that market in the stores, making it available.
You can also say that like we probably would have never gotten like movie Marvel Legends, because with Todd doing his figures, it upped the game of other toy makers, you know. So of course we went from the Toy Biz stuff to the Marvel Legends, and then, you know, Hasbro got the rights and continued on that whole process. And
I do really have to say though, to be critical though a little bit, I prefer the NECA packaging so much more than the movie Maniacs stuff. The packaging and the card art, it looked a little blah to me. The movie Maniacs horror figures were good, like the Freddy figures and the Jason ones, but something was to be desired on the packaging. The packaging fell a little flat for me, whereas NECA just embraced that like VHS open box style display, and just great. I mean, they knock it at the park with that, and it's a proven, tried and true formula that's still selling, even if freaking Targets and online retailers, they nailed it with the way they display. NECA displays their figures, but yeah, it's like, was Todd the stepping stone towards that? Probably.
I mean, just like, so hold on. Give me a second. Whacker, if you didn't hear me, man, hey, welcome to the stream, brother. All right, so we'll take this off. So like, this is something that like just like right here. This is NECA. I mean, look at that. Like, just the amazing art and production on this that just stands out. And then on top of that, you know, you get really good pictures of the figure where they make these like sets and play sets that they've never released. Or sometimes they do. And then
it's all about that the window display, like pop that open,
and then
like,
when you get into the window display, you got all this stuff here that just pops.
By the way, that does look like a rotisserie dog chicken in Chinatown, just gotta say. But I've walked by that many a time in New York City and smelled it on the street.
Right.
And like, what are you cooking here? What is that dipped in
that honey glaze orange sauce?
Yeah,
or
what is that?
But like, you know, going back to what you're saying about like the difference between, and if I could get to them, I would, but like, you know, movie Maniacs, you know, they had the card art, they had a little bitty skeleton display, and that kind of represented the cover of the VHS. But like with NECA, you get these like awesome like I mean, same thing, looks like the VHS, you know, more product placement on the back of what the figure is. And then they put a lot of detail, and that wasn't happening enough with McFarlane at the time, you know?
You can't beat that. You can't beat that.
Yeah.
NECA refined it.
Correct. Right. And, you know, and that's the thing, you know, he's moved beyond doing the movie stuff. And, you know, of course, like what I was saying earlier, let me grab it. But, you know, you got, get the camera right. You know, he's doing
mine
the DC
mine
stuff.
hasn't come in the mail yet.
You know, and it's like, it's really great, you know, like getting to see these characters get a representation that they weren't before. and different variants because there was a very much limited what they were doing with like the DC Select and some other things.
Do you think I'll be able to pop the Batman head on and still keep it in the box?
Honestly, dude, I think you could. Maybe. I mean,
I can just pull it out and swap the two, right?
Because like if you look, it looks like the clearance is enough there on the head that you could probably, because his ears aren't that high, so I'm pretty sure you could if you wanted to.
But I don't think I can get his normal head in this Batman head spot.
Right. I don't know. Maybe. Like I said, I think you could. I think you can because his ears aren't. Remember, this version of Batman, his ears are like this. They're not like freaking full on.
He's kind of got the Catwoman ears, bro.
Pointy spikes.
Like the Dark Knight. He's got like the Dark Knight Rises Catwoman ears.
Mm-hmm. Rotisserie dog chicken. McFarlane Toys was only opening. Hold on, let me see what the other Josh said. McFarlane Toys was only opening the other Western comic figures market in the affordable toy aisle. True. Because right now, yeah, that is true. Because like McFarlane Toys are cheaper than like Hasbro stuff. You can go get a DC figure way cheaper than like.
I'll tell you two things to be critical. because we were critical of like Movie Maniacs a little bit, but let me be critical of NECA on something.
Mm-hmm.
I think these Toon Terror figures that they're putting out are complete.
Yeah.
Just idiocy, stupid. I don't like them. I don't get them. And these little stupid mini plushes that they put out for like $8-10 are trash. I think they're stupid. So some of the stuff NECA's doing is low tier and kind of lame. But what they're like their bread and butter is good.
Right.
Anything in a display box is dope.
So, and my dad brings up some points, and so does Josh. Like, so the stuff from Pirates of the Caribbean was great. The Terminator, other film was great. It just depended on if they got the likeness rights or not. Very true, because there was some really good stuff. And then, like, I think for the longest time, like, we couldn't have, like, Arnold didn't sign off in his likeness on any of the figures, so they kind of, like, had an off version of him. For at least far as...
I'm pissed off, though, about one thing. Where is the endoskeleton T800? Because the one you showed me leaves a lot to be desired. We need a normal display box with flap endoskeleton.
Right.
You remember the one you showed me? I do not like the one that you showed me that I've seen before. I didn't buy it because it looks like some Five Below bullshit.
Well, the reason why they did that was because it was supposed to be a little bit more cheaper for people to buy because it was supposed to be an army builder figure. NECA was trying to get them out because normally that figure was a $22 figure versus, or no, it was a $20 figure versus like a standard release.
30.
The ultimate T1000, the ultimate T800 from 2, the ultimate Tech Noir version of the first T800. Those are $35 figures. So they were trying to find something, because at that same time you got the Sarah and John figures in the 2-pack that you could only get John as an exclusive that came with the motorcycle at one of the conventions, and then the Sarah was something when they were first doing the Terminator figures back for NECA. But and like what Josh said too is like, NECA still needs to have better quality, and he's right on that. This as much as I do. We take a figure out of that plastic, there's a potential possibility that we're going to break the arm or the leg off of it, or a hand, or a part of it. Even that happens on the NECA Turtle figures, that happens on the cartoon ones, the movie ones. I mean, it's a possible chance. So, you're getting high quality stuff, but you need to be able to take it out. You need to be able to play with it. If not, it's going to be like you're trying to loosen it from the paint that they have it, and you're going to snap that peg off, and there goes the arm. It's like, dang it. I don't know how many times I've been in...
bullshit about where you had to take your fucking spider gremlin out and put it in warm fucking water like
Correct.
You're jerking the thing off. That is ridiculous.
So the spider gremlin, yes, you had to dip the part where the ball joint would go in for the leg, the lower leg, in hot water, so it would make the plastic more malleable to put in there.
Oh, guys, NECA's got us like warming up wet ball joints. Come on, NECA.
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, well, that's the thing too. Like with Josh, there's guys in the community that will sit there and go, "Yeah, I had to hit it. I had to put it in warm water to be able to loosen up the joints, or I had to take my hair dryer and heat up the plastic to be able to move it around and stuff." And it's like, I shouldn't have to do that with my toys. I shouldn't have to be able to like, here's the instructions.
So why
of
don't
how
they
to play
fucking
with
put
it.
some kind of lubrication on the fucking thing then? Why are we doing that?
The limitation of the box, because that was part of the problem with the spider gremlin. Is the box was about like this big, so you couldn't tuck the legs up underneath it within that plastic without it requiring more of a plastic to hold it. Let me see. So Zombie said there were also some good toy designs that looked as good as McFarlane, like the Skeleton Warriors. And my dad said yes. That was a great line. Whacker said, you guys remember watching Batman v Ninja Turtles? Yes, I enjoyed that one a lot. I wish I would have got some of the figures, Whacker. Pretty good animation. Yeah, animation was great.
That's some money on the Cubbies.
The money on the Cubbies. Yeah, but the Toon Terror is the only way that I've gotten a Vincent Price figure. You know, and that's the thing, Dad. You know, if NECA could get the license to some of the Universal stuff outside of the original monsters, or just like some of those classic 60s, 50s, 70s horror movies, that'd be awesome, you know?
You know what I'm surprised he hasn't done? Why not do a full remastered Wave 1 and 2 with a comic again? Like the throwback reissues. Remastered.
So the Kickstarter ones he's doing. So he did the Spawn, he just did Medieval Spawn. Both of those come with a comic, but they're part of a Kickstarter thing. I think that's the way he's going to do it.
I fucking hate that Kickstarter. So when they got to kickstart it,
you know, and that's the sad. Well, I do too, but I understand part of the reason, because it's a risky venture. You know, when you're with him, like, people are going to buy it. It's like why Hasbro does HasLabs on certain things. It's like, I'm sorry, but if you mass produce the Rattler, you mass produce a flag, people are going to buy it. It's not going to sit on the shelf. It may get picked up by scalpers and then we never get one, but, you know, it's not going to overflood the market. But it gives them opportunities to use technologies that they don't think will work, or put in extra features that may work.
Fuck Kickstarter. I don't.
Well, we had Sarah with a variant from McFarlane, and yes, we did, Dad. We had that one, and we had the one whenever NECA got the license for it.
But honestly, Endoskeleton T800, that needs to be in a normal display box. You know, because what the fuck, dude?
Well, they've done many of them. It wasn't like this figure hadn't been released before. My problem with is like, at least with the McFarlane one, when you had the hand and stuff with the Flays plasma rifle, it actually fit in between the gap with where the actual, you know, endoskeleton hand was, so it held the whole thing. But for the NECA one, it's supposed to just hands on the handle, or it holds the handle, and it doesn't sit right. It just flops out of there, and you have to like, well, do I put some kind of thing to wrap it to hold it so it displays right, or I just have my endoskeleton without the gun? Let me see. That is mass production related. Only a few figures let me call them my NECA. Hey, we always say my NECA. We're talking about NECA products. I used to build dioramas with the Terminator endoskeletons. I remember that, Dad. Yep. Especially because like when the McFarlane one, you got like a molded skulls that you would put the foot on, and you could use that for whatever you wanted. It was pretty cool. Plus, McFarlane's broke. That is true. He needs
They
a
are?
Kickstarter. Well, he's. I don't know if he's. I gotta look it up, but there's something about it.
How the hell is he broke?
I don't know. I have to look it up. Zombie may be joking. Who knows? McFarlane still draws and creates content. I see him on Instagram. He does.
Yeah.
Now there are way too many variants. That is true too.
He comes off like a really nice guy.
Oh yeah, McFarlane's awesome. Like we've met him a couple times at like early days, like when he first started doing Spawn, and then like at some of the conventions later on.
Yeah.
How can we get a new Spawn movie property? He's working on that, and it's taken like 10 years to do anything. All I know is that Jamie Foxx is going to be playing Al Simmons. Variants need to go back to being unique and not something simply of a red versus blue cake. Or, well, and see, that's the thing, right? Hasbro right now with G.I. Joe. I love the classified line. My biggest issue with it is that they take mainline characters and make them exclusive for convention, make it hard for people to get, instead of taking variants and making those the ones that are con exclusives. Like, you know, what they did back in the day with Sears exclusives was like, I think, with the Night Force and stuff like that. McFarlane now makes way too many variants. McFarlane is not broke. McFarlane has been working on it for a while. I don't think Jamie Foxx is the best choice, but who knows? It's gonna get to the point where Jamie Foxx is gonna be too old by the time this movie gets made, so he's gonna have to look at somebody else. Maybe Michael B. Jordan or somebody. Or you know what? The guy that was in that movie on Netflix, Dad. Oh, come on, what was it called? That's a great movie that people need to check out. Hold on my Netflix now so I can see it. Let me go to my watch again section. Ryan, can you continue holding the show real quick while I grab this?
Just a reminder, don't buy that Commando Spawn. There's nothing on under his pants. He's full Commando.
He's going Commando. Rebel Ridge is really good, and the guy and the main character in that would be perfect for playing Al Simmons, I think, at least in my personal opinion. So McFarlane's net worth is $300 million. I wish I had $300 million. Don't you, Ryan?
He's gonna be all right. I think
it's gonna be all right. McFarlane may be well off, but I read one of his Spawn-related companies went broke. I need to look and see which one that was. The guy that was going to be in the new Blade could do it. Marshall Ali, yeah. Yeah. I could see him doing that too. But anyway, Ryan, is there anything else we want to cover for this real quick before we start? Yeah, Rebel Ridge, dude, freaking great movie. If y'all haven't seen it, you need to check it out. It's awesome. Don Johnson plays a great villain. Oh wait, I don't want to say anything. Anyway,
no, just that mid-90s comic era, man. What a time to be alive. Height of Image Comics peaking. What a time to be alive.
Comics, anime, movies were the best at that point in time. Like, I mean, toys, man, the list goes on of things that were amazing that haven't been as good as it was back in the 80s or 90s.
The expectation of what was going to come out next during that era from Image even though it ended up being a little short-lived, maybe the length of the run of the peak before they kind of split up as it was going to inevitably happen, but the idea of that traces right back to Spawn and breaking apart from evil corporate America to have owning their own IPs under Image umbrella together as artists and kind of friends and homies for that era for a while.
Mm-hmm.
That's an impressive thing. That's the power of innovators and true artists to gang up like that, do their own thing, say fuck the corporate America fucking Marvel DC shit. Let's go out on our own. Because they weren't giving them any freedom, man. They weren't letting them own their own IPs, own their own characters. They're like, look, you're going to take all these away from it. You're going to own the rights to everything we do. Goodbye. We're going to start our own thing. Peace.
Mm-hmm.
That's rock and roll shit right there.
Well, and you think about that's kind of what goes on with YouTube, right? But it's getting harder and harder to do that. Like, to start your own thing, to have your own little groove. And it's, you got to just risk it sometimes. You just got to go and do it. But it does make it hard because there's things set in place to make it to where you can't have full creative range on what you want to do and accomplish just because of it may infringe on somebody else or some other corporation. So yeah, definitely. But yeah, this was the Spawn was a big part of my life growing up. I love this character, and the toys have made a big impact on everything within our in our culture and stuff like that.
We really could have used there really should have been a standard classic Spawn arcade cab beat 'em up, stylized almost like an X-Men or a Turtles in Time. There should have been one around this era that for Spawn. Spawn deserved that. Just going.
You're not wrong. I would love Neo Geo to kind of be the company that would have done that.
Yeah.
Just because they had the most weird, obscure style of games like that. I mean, maybe Data East could have done it too, but I really think that Neo Geo SNK would have been perfect for it.
Yeah. That would have been nice too,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, McFarlane is a corporate entity now, even has a board of directors to answer to. Some of his recent projects lost money, so he was going to reduce. So if these hold on. So he was going to reduce. So if these projects, for some of his project he had scheduled, sorry, trying to make sense of what I was reading here. My brain wasn't working. But yeah, I think we're done. I mean, is there anything else you want to cover, or we're good?
No, that was a fun one to do. Extensive toy line. It's fun too to because it's we're normally covering toy lines that relate back to just an animated show.
Mm-hmm.
This was a whole enchilada of it's a toy line that had a comic, that had a movie, that had an animated show, that had a, this has more than most, because it's Turtles has all those things, but not everything we've covered has that many.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, the closest I think of a series that will probably have that many waves outside of Spawn would be Transformers, because even G.I. Joe died at a certain point.
Yeah.
He-Man died. Spider-Man just lived on through just being a Marvel property. I mean, Marvel would probably be up there now too with the Marvel Legends stuff. But yeah, no, this was fun. Everyone, tell us down below what y'all's favorite Spawn figure was. Did you watch the cartoon? Did you read the comic? What did you feel about the movie? What else? Let me see. Remember, look on the thumbnail for this episode. There is a villain on there for a reference to what we're going to be talking about next Sunday. If you can guess it, just put it down below. Let us know. I'm pretty sure it's right in the center. So, but we hope you all enjoyed this episode, and we will be back again for more toy discussions every Sunday at 8 o'clock. So until then, everyone have a great week, and we'll see you next episode.